Welcome back, everyone, to the final match here of the inaugural season for Hearthstone Grandmasters of the Americas region. My name is Frode. I'm joined by TJ Sanders. And coming next, we got a final to determine who is getting that last spot for Season 1 at the Global Finals at BlizzCon later this year.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice one. It's been a long season, 8 weeks of play now, almost in the books with the final week closing up here. And PNC versus Purple making their way to the finals. It's Mage versus Warrior, which, Dan, I think that our whole regular season was a precursor to the matchup we were going to be seeing in the finals, because I feel like this is one we've watched a lot.
All right, well, let's go ahead and check in on the deck list of what we can expect. We have PNC bringing the Cyclone Mage with a fast 2-0 victory. And, you know, Eddie not able to get over the hump of the Mage is pretty surprising to me. I kind of thought that the Paladin was supposed to be very good against the Mage, and it turned out it was very ineffective against the early game from PNC.
Yeah, the Luna's Pocket Galaxy, I think, was the key to PNC's last matchup against Eddie, and honestly, I think it might be the key to this matchup against Purple. Having it in his primary deck gives him a big advantage, because it allows him to have that potential advantage as early as Game 1. And keep in mind, this is now a best of 5. So that last series against Eddie, PNC I don't think can rely on just drawing Luna's Pocket Galaxy every game. His decks are going to be tested. They're going to be put through the ringer against Purple's lineup, who's bringing Bomb Warrior. And the interesting thing to note is Purple does have a tertiary deck that seems to be designed for Mage with the double Augmented Elec, Big Game Hunter, Brawl, and Super Collider. So unlike the best of 3, with best of 5, the tertiary deck comes more into play because you get to play it at least 2 additional times after game number 1. So should be a very interesting series to say the least.
Yes, if Purple can hold off against this, he's won not 1 but 2 unfavorable matchups going into day number 3 here. And as we come to the conclusion of the Hearthstone Grandmaster season altogether, we do want to highlight a couple of things. One, Purple has a chance to make 3 World Championship appearances. That is unprecedented. No one's been able to do that so far. He'd be the first to make that historic landmark. The second is we have never had a player from Latin America represented at the Global Finals or a World Championship. We've had them get to championship stages at seasonal finals with, you know, Diego Diaz and Topo Pablo or Empanizado and Nalgidon. But, like, you know, no one's been able to make that breakthrough. And now PNC could be that guy.
Yeah, it's got to be a lot of pressure, especially after PNC's start, right? He had a very rough start to the regular season of Grandmasters.
Extremely rough.
He even tweeted out after like week 1 or 2 saying, I really need to stop focusing on other games and really hammer down my Hearthstone practice. And he did. Despite a rough start, was able to barely sneak into the playoffs, and now has put up a fantastic performance thus far, and does have a good matchup in the finals, which is not always something that you can hope to have. And I see a Luna's Pocket Galaxy already in the opening hand for PNC.
Let the pain speak to me.
Yeah, Luna's Pocket Galaxy would be really good if PNC doesn't draw his minions. Oh, you know, part of the power of Luna's Pocket Galaxy is that he can have his 1-mana Antonites, 0-mana Mountain Giants. So not as big of an upside as it usually is. It's still very good. Should he choose to coin it out here?
Purple recognizing that, though. If he's going to coin Luna's Pocket Galaxy or play a big threat, Purple realized I need to have the biggest thing on board, and that's a Mega Devastator, which you may think, well, such a good late-game card to be able to deal with big giants. It's not necessarily about that in this matchup, especially Purple playing Bomb Warrior with limited removal, like only 1 copy of Brawl, no Big Game Hunters, no Super Colliders in the primary. He needs to pile on the pressure and roll from there.
Mirror images to protect his Mountain Giant. I like it. To get some board presence. There's no Shield Slam available for Purple. He doesn't even have the armor count to capitalize onto it. He does, however, have an opportunity to go Dynamatic to draw cards and potentially find ways to answer future Giants. And I think Purple, in his mind, if he can sneak out a win in this primary deck, he feels very good in this series. But I don't think his chances for this primary game feel very optimistic, given that he doesn't have Big Game Hunter, he doesn't have Super Collider. Heck, he only has 1 Brawl in the deck, which is very precious.
Yes, very, very precious. And he did find a clear here with Warpath, which also draws him cards. Double Warpath plus...
Also,
not quite a clear.
Yeah. But the Warpaths also make sense, given that he is guaranteed draw, and Dynamatic can potentially answer a Giant later if he just played one-on-one and he has Dr. Boom at Genius.
Doesn't want to see Conjurer's Calling here, which is has to be on the forefront of Purple's mind, but PNC currently doesn't have it. And I wonder if PNC was using this Giant as a way to buy him time to get to Luna's Pocket Galaxy, or if PNC says, after seeing both Mountain Giants and an Archmage and Tinnitus, if Luna's Pocket Galaxy is even worth giving up tempo to play. Since most of the time you're using it to get cards like Mountain Giant and Archmage and Tinnitus cheaper, and he only has 1 copy of Sea Giant in his primary deck, which means that it's not going to be worth the tempo.
Magic Trick into Ray of Frost, which, you know, PNC, if he picked up that Mana Cyclone, would have more than a full hand, only able to hold 10 cards at one point. So, what is he really looking for here, dude? He's just looking for Conjurer's Calling and that's it?
I think so, and that's why I'm honestly surprised he went for Arcane Intellect first over Magic Trick.
The second Magic Trick.
Yeah, the Magic Trick could have given him without the forced cord removal, and then if you don't hit it on that one, you could always hit it on the following turn with Arcane Intellect or Arcane Mana.
PNC using both Rays of Frost to stop potential Dynamatic or any other kind of removal, and if Purple does go for this Militia Commander, he will walk into exactly that. PNC also recognizing Splitting Image could have been triggered by the 1-2, so this is a nice spot here. Purple picks up Snip Snap, just needs to get to his Dr. Boom at Genius turn. It feels like it'll be smooth sailing for his removal options. Doesn't mean that he'll necessarily win the game.
Yeah, and it feels like at this point, I don't know if he can respect Splitting Image. I think he just kind of has to hope that it's counterspelled and take the hit. Right. As unfortunate as it seems, yes, he could attack into Sorcerer's Apprentice, but then if he attacks into Sorcerer's Apprentice, there's still a Giant on the board.
Right.
Right. In every scenario, there's a Giant on the board if you attack into Sorcerer's Apprentice. In 1 out of 4 of the rest of the scenarios after testing for Mirror Entity, there's a Mountain Giant in play. So.
Yeah, the difference maker would be, of course, if he had a 2-2 versus no minion on the board after the trade.
Yeah.
PNC still holding to his Luna's Pocket Galaxy. I'm trying to figure out the right timing of it, because as the game progresses, this card becomes less effective. And he already did use some of his card draw, like Arcane Intellect, so it's not like if he goes for Pocket Galaxy, he'll be in a good spot right afterwards. He still needs card draw to back it up. Otherwise, it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, I think maybe if he draws Stargazer Luna as his next minion, he'll play it. But other than that, I don't think, unless he has 5 mana to spare with nothing else to do, that he's actually going to play it.
So he wants to Frostbolt and utilize this spell to gain some tempo on the board to protect his minions. If Purple finds the Brawl, PNC is almost out of gas. That's a big if. I don't think he has a way to get through everything right now.
He doesn't have a way to get through everything, but he can take out one of the Giants, and with Shield Block plus Shield Slam. Shield Block also could pick him up something that allows him to deal with the Sorcerer's Apprentice. For 3 mana. Warpath, maybe the second copy of Warpath, but that's a pretty big expenditure. I think right now he's just worried about trying to survive as long as possible.
2 Snip Snaps, kind of leans towards playing 1.
Yeah.
Immediately on the board for presence. There's 11 power on the board. Now we kind of see the value of what the Pocket Galaxy would have been able to give if PNC played it, but he's running out of minions to actually hit it on now.
Yeah, he has Stargazer Luna,
Yep. He has Stargazer Luna. He has
Zilliax, and a Sea
Zilliax.
Giant. Oh, and 2 Mana Cyclones.
Right. So 4 mana to to still hit about 5 to 6 minions. Still reasonable. I mean, he's even got Snip Snap in the deck, it looks like. So
Oh, yeah, you're right.
yeah, there's some hits. Thing is, you give up developing on your own turn. And I think in PNC's mind, if he just say goes for Banana Buffoon and Halftime Scavenger, it feels like it's a better proactive game plan to kill the warrior.
What to do? What to do?
I think Banana Buffoon is the card that I almost 100% want to come down this turn. I don't know if the Halftime Scavenger is super important. And the bananas are something that I wasn't expecting to be spent just because he has Archangenius lined up for the next turn. But if Source of Apprentice gets dealt with, he only has 1 mana, so I think his plan for next turn is to play Archangenius plus 1 banana and hope that purple, if he does have any removal left, is using it on this board.
Yeah, precisely. So purple can play Dr. Boom Mad Genius, gain 7 armor, can play the Turnium Rover and trade in, which gains another 2 armor. That should offset this giant damage.
Yeah.
He actually has an option to trade in the Snip Snap so that he can keep his Eternium Rover alive instead of trading the 1/3 into the 3/1.
Just more efficient armor gain. I like it.
Yes, he needs every bit of life he can squeeze out. PNC with 10 power, 7 damage off.
Ho, ho, ho.
That's second fireball. And you just saw that purple got a delivery drone. This looks like a double fireball turn.
Yeah. Pick up 2 fireballs, you push 9, put purple down to 8. Even if he draws a shield block, he's still dead without any additional armor gain. Also, purple would have to gain health and... Oh no, he'd actually push him all the way down to 7. So purple would have to deal with these minions and heal up to play around this combination, which with his current hand, I can't even think of a draw that does that. Zilliax?
Okay.
Okay.
Ah, but he's 1 mana off from the Omega Devastator Zilliax.
He can Omega Devastator Zilliax by itself and just kill the Archmage Antonidas. That would be 7 points of healing, so it would put him out of range.
Okay, then.
It put him out of range, except the second fireball.
Ah, yeah,
Would
because
would
the
be
Omega
enough.
Devastator would be at 7 health. He could Fireball Ping, Fireball Face. He would have to trade in his Eternium Rover. He can actually magnetize... No.
No, I think he's still dead either way. Because if he plays the Zilliax and Omega Devastator, that thing has... Well, heck, it has 7 health, right? So it's...
Yeah, it would be Fireball Ping and then Fireball Face. It would be
okay,
exactly 16. He can go up to 16 because he can gain 7 by attacking into this.
Right. And then he attacks in with the Turnium Rover, so...
Yeah, but then he's dead because a Fireball Ping to the Omega Devastator and then a Fireball Face is exactly 16.
Right. It's his best play. Doesn't have the battle cry from the Mega Devastator, and even if he didn't, he had Conjurer's Calling to help get past. But PNC should be able to wrap this up. Fireball, the 7/7, hero power it, push face, and deal another 6 damage. Oh, he doesn't have enough mana. He has 9 mana.
Oh, he has 9 mana.
Yeah.
Wonder.
We were working on the assumption that PNC had 10 mana.
Yeah, I kept forgetting that PNC was on the coin this game. I thought he was going to be rolling into 10 mana.
Okay, and then do you go for the Conjurer's Calling lethal? I think so. Yeah. No taunt
No
minion.
taunt.
And that should do it. Purple knew that it was unlikely that he would survive, but PNC goes for it anyways, and that's going to wrap up the first game.
Actually, a few taunts in the 4 cost pool, like Felsol Inquisitor, Proud Defender,
Yeah, Ascendant Shield Master,
Shieldmaster.
the Noyo module.
Yeah, there's actually
It's a handful,
there's a good amount actually. So,
but there's a lot more non-taunt minions.
There's a lot more non-taunt minions, but not guaranteed by any means. But PNC Probably very happy to take that first win. Albeit kind of expected based off of both players' primary decks. PNC usually if you have a mage with a Pocket Galaxy in the deck versus a warrior that doesn't have a build specifically to counter mage, then the mage is favored in that scenario. But the secondary decks could change things up a bit.
It should change things up. Whether or not PNC has more ammo to take down the warrior, warrior has more defenses to stave off the mage pressure. As if we take a look at the secondary and tertiary decks for either players, PNC does have the Twilight Drakes, the Harrison Jones, Karen Bloodhoof, and Alex Straza, and dropping some of his other less used cards for this matchup. I anticipate him going more towards that. And then for purple, I believe his tertiary deck with the double augmented Alec, Big Game Hunter Brawl, and Super Collider should come into